I'm going to say it. The only reason why we're going through hard times is because we're not paying attention and we're not learning the lessons. Clock it. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, it's not for you. Don't force it. Let it fly, but most importantly, grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to go over and discuss what it's like to go through hard times, how to overcome these hard times, as well as recommendations, reminders, disclaimers, and just certain things to be aware of. So all tea, all shade, the reason why we have to go through hard times in life is because there's a lesson that needs to be learned. That is it. That is a whole. We as people overcomplicate our situations and make it more difficult than what it needs to be. This doesn't mean that our feelings are not hurt. This doesn't mean that we invalidate our experience. This doesn't mean that what we go through is not real and I'm telling you guys how to feel. But let's be for real. If you're here to watch this video, if you claim to be grown, you claim to be that girl, you claim to be that guy, in order to be that girl, in order to be that guy, you got to be real with yourself. We go through hard times in life because we're not in alignment. What has helped me along my healing journey, and that's the first disclaimer, was realizing what was for me and what's not. And how do you know what's for you, what's not? You pay attention to how you feel. If it's not receptive, if it's not reciprocated, if it's not welcoming, if it doesn't cause you to feel safe, it doesn't cause you to feel attractive, it doesn't make you feel loved, it doesn't make you feel abundant, it doesn't make you feel confident, it's not for you. That's what we talk about this account. We talk about positivity, healing, love, abundance, and confidence. If it's any of those things, it's not for you. Once you realize that certain things and certain people are not for you, you won't have to continue to go through hard things in your life. You will continue to make better choices and better decisions. So the second disclaimer is knowing that when you're going through something, you have to be honest about how you feel. You have to articulate your emotions. You cannot suppress how you feel and think things are going to get better. Or you cannot project and deflect onto people and places and things who did nothing to you, because it only sabotages you and causes you to lead you to your demise. You only hurt and harm people who are meant to help you, like myself. If you're going through a hard time, it's for a reason. If you're going through a hard time, there are certain things that you need to be paying attention to. If you're going through hard times, it is for you to become better. And that's the third thing. You have to realize that it is intentional and it's important. And the reason why it's so intentional for you to be vigilant is because if you don't, you will continue to make the same choices in your life and have the same outcome and have the same frustration and the same pain. That is what has helped me along my healing journey, and that is what I realized that was an issue. Now, of course, when you're not taught and shown emotional intelligence, when you're not taught and shown how to express yourself, you're not going to a therapist, you're not going to a psychiatrist, you're not booking your service in your session with me, you're not even following me, you're not even surrounding yourself with people who are emotionally intelligent or loving and respectful or who have done the work, you will feel low self-esteem. You will beat yourself up. You will self-sabotage, right? Because either A, like I said, you weren't taught and shown, or B, you have fear, you have guilt, you have shame. And when you have fear and you have guilt and shame, you're the only person, like I said, who hinders yourself. You cannot be embarrassed to talk about the traumatic situations that happened to you, whether it was at 3, 13, 33, 47, 57, 15, 16, 20, or however old. You have to be comfortable with you expressing yourself. Anybody who's made you feel uncomfortable is not for you. And you have to realize when people don't make you feel comfortable, when people don't make you feel safe, when people don't make you feel heard, you need to remove yourself, because this is how you end up having these hard times, by the company you kept. I went through certain things in my life because I was surrounded by people and places and things who were not for me, because I ended up having to learn certain situations and what to do and what not to do. If we're going to be honest, like, everybody loves to blame everybody else. Everybody does things right, and there are people in this world that can be a victim, like myself and you, but it's like, at the end of the day, from a mature standpoint, because that's what this account is for, the mature audience, I had to realize, you know what, the only reason why I even had bad things happen to me, yes, it was at the expense of other people sometimes, but at the end of the day, it came down to me. It came down to me being where I needed to be, or me being in places that wasn't for me. Me being in relationships that poured into me versus me being in relationships that didn't pour into me. Now, of course, because I am somebody who pays attention and loves to play games and connect the dots and connect four, okay, I started to pick up on this, which is called pattern recognition. I started to realize certain environments I needed to go to, certain environments I needed to stay far, far away from. Certain people I was able to converse with and have conversations with without feeling the need to bring myself down or dumb my intelligence down in order for them to comprehend what I'm saying, versus people where I had conversations, it flew naturally. Like, we make our life so much harder than what it is. And the fourth thing is knowing that once you express yourself, once you become aware, once you hold yourself accountable and stop feeling ashamed, you learn. This is when you can come up with solutions. This is when you can realize, okay, do I need to continue to be with these people, places, and things? Does this make me feel seen? Am I able to be my true, authentic self, or am I being judged? You won't continue to make the same choices once you realize how it's affecting you. But in order for you to do this, you have to realize that it's a reason why you're going through these things. And now that's the fourth thing. Until you figure out who you are in this life, I'm telling you guys from experience, that is the secret ingredient. One of the secret ingredients, the Krabby Patty. Okay, I'm just kidding. I don't know. But that is the sauce, though. People pay trillions and millions for that. That is the sauce. I'm telling you guys for free. You gotta know who you are so you don't have to continue to go through trials and tribulations. Because anything afterwards, once you become consciously aware, once you become the highest version of yourself, is a choice. There are no coincidences. It wasn't an accident. It happened by choice. Now, of course, you can make a decision because you didn't know any better. You were uneducated. You were unaware. But it's like once you become aware of something, you're no longer naive. And that's all it is. In order for us to get through hard times, we have to stop being naive. We have to learn how to apply what we know. This is why I tell you guys, take what resonates, leave the rest, grab your pen and your paper. If what I'm saying makes sense, it makes sense. If what I'm saying isn't making sense, then it's not for you. It's so simple. It becomes so simple. And yes, it does become easy. People be like, oh, it's never that easy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, if you're not willing to do the work, if you don't want to change, you don't become the best version of yourself, that's the only time what I'm saying is not going to resonate with you. And that just means me and you are not meant to be in each other's life. It's very simple. It's very simple. And that's the same thing with you. Like, once you figure out what you want to do and how you want to live, why wouldn't it make sense? Why wouldn't it become easy? Why do you feel like you would have to continue to go through things? And this doesn't mean that you're not going to constantly have to experience people, places, and things, because you're going to live your entire life until you're not living anymore. But it's like you realize what you're doing. People know what they're doing, okay? You have to realize that you don't have to continue to go through hard times. And just because you're going to go through things and you know what you're doing, when you do have to experience adversity temporary in the moment for a season, for a chapter, you know how to react and respond. The more you are aware of yourself and your intentions and how you operate, the more you're able to realize if this is a distraction, if these people and these places and things are for me, like, is this taken away from me? So, for example, not too long ago, you guys, I had to go run an errand. Now, it's really important that you pay attention to your surroundings, obviously, but it's really important to pay attention to how your surroundings make you feel. I went to this environment. There were some people there. I felt that I was like, okay, yeah, I don't need to be around these people in these places, because when I go there, it's hostility, it's tension. And it's like when you are minding your business and you're at peace with yourself, you don't need to be around people and places and things that are hostile. So moving forward, instead of me going back to that environment, instead of me getting upset with certain people and places and things, just realizing, you know what? These people and these places and things, this environment isn't for me. Let me remove myself. Let me go to a different environment to get the things that I want, because that's all it is. It's just knowing that you can have the things that you want, but it may not be with everything and everybody. Like, we don't have to continue to go through hard times once we realize what we're doing. Because it's like, yes, you're a victim, okay? And I'm not saying that to invalidate your experience, but it's like blaming people who are not good people. What does that do? Because it's like, if you really look at things for what they are and not what you want them to be, if you know people, let's just say, are negative or haters, and you're not a hater and you're not a negative person, why would you continue to surround yourself with people who aren't? Because that's how you end up going through hard times. Like, when it comes to other people. Like, yes, other people sometimes purposely sabotage and do certain things, and that's an example of that. But it's like when you're really mature, you realize you don't even want to be associated with these people, places, and things. So for you to not continue to go through these hard times, know what's for you, what's not. Learn the lesson. Realize what's in your control and what's not. And that's the fifth thing. Once you realize what's in your control and what's not in your control, you're not going to be, oh, I need to do this or I need to do that. Or you're not going to feel overwhelmed and anxious because you know what's for you and you know what's not. So with that being said, let me know if you guys want a part 2. Let me know what questions, comments, concerns, how this video resonated with you, and what you're doing in order for you to go through adversity. What lessons have you learned? Like, are you willing to be open-minded? Are you willing to be accepted? Or what are we doing? But I know personally, moving forward in 2026, and as this month is coming to the end, I'm not going to continue to go through hard things in my life. I'm not going to continue to have to go through struggling and suffering, because like I said, when you go through enough things in your life, you learn. It's okay. You don't have to be embarrassed. You don't have to be ashamed. Learn the lesson. Once you learn the lesson, you apply the wisdom, you apply the guidance, you apply what you've been taught. Like I said, you pay attention to how environments make you feel. You pay attention to how people make you feel. You pay attention to who you are. You're not going to have to keep going through hard things in life. You're not going to have to keep having to learn certain lessons that are considered to be traumatic. And it's like, if you're somebody, like I said, that was a genuine and loving person, and you experienced trauma because maybe you didn't have people to pour into you, maybe you didn't have community, maybe you didn't have resources, or maybe there were just horrible people around you, see it for what it is. Genuinely. Accept people for who they are, or accept people for who they're not. That's how you're going to continue to go through hard times. Same thing with if it's not even a person, people, place, or thing. Let's just say you're driving to work and you get a flat tire, and that's considered to be a hard time for you. There's something that you're supposed to be learning in this time. Maybe you're learning how to be responsible. Maybe you weren't responsible. Maybe you're being protected. Like, things that you think are delay are denial or protection. It's no in between. It's either for you, it was going to be for you, or it wasn't. Let's just say you get fired from your job, which I got fired at the age of 20, guys. At the time, I was devastated. I was dramatic, and I thought I was depressed. Why did I think I was depressed? Because for the first 20 years of my life, or my entire life, I grew up with a silver spoon. I grew up with money, my own money, and my community, my parents. I grew up having money. So when I got fired, psychologically, like I said, the reason why I was traumatic was because I wasn't used to not having money. At the age of 20, I wasn't used to not having a job. I've been working since I was 17. I was a stay-at-home daughter for the first 20 years of my life, but when I was in high school, 17 to like 21-ish, I started to get like a real job, even though I was still living with my parents until I turned 21 and I moved out. It was unfamiliar to me. It was new to me. So that was my hard time. I used to think, oh my God, I'm sad, I'm depressed. I didn't have to be that way once I educated myself. Once I learned a lesson. What I learned from being fired is that, number 1, I didn't want to work. 2, I didn't want a job. So 3, if I didn't want to work and I didn't want a job, let me become an entrepreneur. Let me do what I want to love. Let me do what I want to do. And I did. Now, of course, that's not everybody's story, so don't sit here and try to do what I do. But do what makes sense to you. When you're going through hard times, there's certain lessons that we're supposed to learn. Because if you don't learn the lesson, that hard time becomes a hard life. If you do not learn the lesson, it will become a hard life. And this is why people feel so paralyzed and so stuck and so stagnant from the traumatic situations that happen to us. So let me know what has happened to you so we can talk about this. Follow me on all my social media platforms if I didn't already say that. Follow me on Instagram and on TikTok so we can go live and chit chat more into this. Let me know if you guys want a part 2. Let me know what you think. And book yourself in your session if you're ready to have that one-on-one and you're just like, enough is enough. Because in order to get through hard times, like, you just have to realize you deserve more, you want more, and you're allowed to do those things. Even if you weren't taught and shown, like, you have to be willing to teach and show yourself sometimes if you're not already watching these videos, okay? Love you, bye.